Hey guys, we're at the virtual park and we're gonna race.
Let's go.
Let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to H Capital. So today we are discussing about the slow progress for women in leadership role. So with me is Nadia and Mona. Thanks for joining us. I'm really excited to be having this discussion with you.
Thanks for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
Okay, so my first question is, can you, Nadia, describe your personal experience when advancing for leadership roles?
Truthfully, I have had no extreme challenges. Of course, I've had my mother backing me up all the time, but since day one in corporate industry, I have had managers who believed in me, pushed me to be a go-getter, and I have two mentors who are also helping me out since day one of corporate.
How about you, Mona?
It's a bit different for me because when I first started in the banking line, I felt that there was a lot of sexism.
Okay.
So even the first interview I had, there were sexist jokes made about me. So this is your first job, right? So your first interview, so you didn't want to say anything.
Yeah.
And then when I got a job, in meetings they would make sexist jokes, the bosses, the guys in the office. So to me, I felt that was quite an experience, and it showed me that I had to be somewhat like men for me to be equal.
Did you speak up the first time, or do you kind of just like play along because it was your first job?
Yeah, so
You
I
had to
didn't
play
know,
along?
I didn't
Yeah.
expect that it was going to be like that. And I didn't think it was wrong because everyone, even the ladies, were laughing at those jokes because they were so used to it. But then I realized that, hey, this is not right. And I started to dislike it. And I would tell them off, softly. But then I realized that's a culture. Everyone accepted it. Yeah.
So for me, I think I didn't have any issues, but I really think that it's because I'm very straightforward and I'm a bit intimidating
That's
for some.
good.
So I can be, So I think I've always tell the truth, say it as it is.
Yeah.
So I think that part of me, when I tend to speak up for myself and I don't think twice,
Yeah.
I think that kind of was an advantage for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I think it's not the same for other women. So, because some women, they're very quiet and it's their character. So I think that would be a disadvantage for them.
Yeah.
Compared to.
I think I want to add that in one of Lenin's Sarawak webinar, we spoke about this.
Yeah, we did.
So I was asking Mona, I'm much like you, straightforward. I just say whatever I want to say.
Yeah.
And some people might see it as she's being too bossy.
Opinionated.
Strong opinionated. But
Yeah.
Mona highlighted that from your experience, if I'm not mistaken, one of her mentors said it's okay to be strong opinionated, but you gotta just mold it a bit to the current situation in hand. It doesn't mean that you need to change altogether.
Correct. That's
Yeah,
right.
so actually that experience sort of shaped me a bit as a person. I became a bit aggressive, a bit bossy because I thought that was the way you have to be.
To win the men
to
over.
win and to be equal, So then I became like that. Then I realized that it wasn't me.
Yeah.
So I thought, hey, this is just not me and that's not right, And so then I realized when I started my business, I met a lot of high-ranking males, and I realized that it's not about being aggressive or assertive or bossy. It's about what's in here.
Yeah.
So when they can see that you've got a bit of substance in here, then they sort of give way.
So you walk the talk. So not just being confident, say what you want, but you work really hard to prove yourself.
You know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So you wouldn't have a problem in advancing, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So my next question is, I feel that women tend to sabotage their advancement. But I don't know if it's similar to your experience, but what do you think?
Go ahead.
Okay. I think to an extent we do sabotage our own advancement.
Yeah.
But we can't just say it's an individual issue.
Yeah.
It's definitely societal, organizational, occupational, and it's relational. One thing affects the other.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's like I said, because we were so conditioned since you're young, so you think that it's the right thing to do. And when you go a bit further, it's like, am I doing this right? You know, am I supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be home taking care of my children? You know, you feel guilty because society tells you so. So,
I think.
is it?
Walking on the
Yeah,
tightrope,
yeah.
yeah.
So I think that's where you don't know it, but you are actually sabotaging yourself.
I didn't realize it at first
Yep.
actually, but I remember back then because I was my mom was always telling me like, okay, you got to study science. So I think there's a expectation that okay, you should be a doctor, and I kind of played with the idea that I want to be a doctor, but I realized that if I'm a doctor, I will be on call all the time. I wouldn't have time with my family. But bear in mind, I was like, what, 17, 18? You're already thinking because I think the
Exactly.
society condition you and you
Right.
condition yourself
Yes.
to kind of like know your role
Yep.
as a wife, as a mom. So you kind of plan your life ahead.
Yep.
So you kind of, rather than deciding when that happens, you already kind of close down opportunities for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I just want to ask, this is a very, I don't know how to put it, but okay, the question is, can we as women have both family and career, or do we have to choose?
I think we can have both, but
I agree.
I feel that you will have to sacrifice a bit of each. You know, you won't, I mean, in family, you have to prioritize which one will be 70-30 or
Yeah.
60-40 kind of thing. But you can have both.
Yeah.
I don't think that you need to be either or.
Yeah.
I agree with Mona. We definitely can have both. But the most important thing is a strong support system.
Yep.
Your partner, your family, your friends, coupled with constant effective communication.
Yep.
Like Mona said, it's not possible for 50-50, right?
Yep.
So that communication will work for you.
I
Yeah.
think it's like a constant communication. You know, it's not like every day you have to give 100%.
Yes.
You know, but I think you're right. I think we have to challenge the status quo, and I think the most important thing is definitely support system. If you have somebody who supports your decision, then definitely it will make it easier. Not just for women, I think, but for men too.
Yeah.
Like if they want to be, you know, traveling and all that, you gotta have a supportive wife. But it's vice versa for women too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have a prime minister who is a lady and who just gave birth. You know, like, what's that?
Yeah. So yeah, support system is very important, but I think also companies, I think they could do more.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, I think we have to stay away from the idea that women have to, you know, when you give birth, are they going to be missing for a while, not giving the support that we need. I think if the company helps with the situation, incorporate family more, I think that would work a bit better and even make us a bit more productive
Yep.
I think
for
a
both
lot
men
of
and women.
a lot of family companies are actually doing that. But the gap is okay. They introduce diversity, inclusivity within the company. The gap is they do not communicate to all of the employees that this is important to hire, to retain, to mentor, to sponsor, to support women in their network. That's the gap that we're looking at.
Yep.
Okay, I have two statements. So whether you agree or disagree. The first statement is success and likability correlates positively in men but negatively in women. Nadia, do you agree?
I do not agree. I think that's like Mona said, that's how we are conditioned to think.
Yep.
But we definitely can do and be better. And I'm not just talking about women, also the opposite gender. We all can do better.
I would agree to some extent because I think there were studies done on this and they proved that for women, when you become more successful, people tend to dislike you slightly more. But again, it's also because of what we believe and we think that we need to be like men, and so we become this aggressive person. We tend to be loud, because we want to match up, with what society feels that should be a successful person. And when you're trying to be someone you're not, that's a recipe for disaster. Of course, people will not like you, you see. So when you can be feminine and can be a good leader as well. But I think that's where, again, we go back to the sabotaging yourself without realizing it, because society conditioned us that way.
I tend to agree with this statement because I feel like for women, like define feminine, because a person who is opinionated can still be feminine.
Exactly.
A person who is aggressive, it can still be feminine. But it's just that we are, we are not. The perspective is not that in the beginning, right? But for women, if we are committed, we are called as control freak. But men, they're like, they're committed. But if men are aggressive, that's leadership skill. But for women, you're a bit bossy, you're a bit opinionated. Because I've had that before. So I really kind of agree with
I've
this.
had that too.
Yeah.
People will tell me you're a bit too aggressive and a bit too loud. I'm like, hey, but I'm just voicing out my ideas and concerns.
The question I set again to you during the webinar.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so we'll go to the next question, but before that, we'll go for a break. Join us soon. Hey, thanks for tuning back in to H Capital with me, Balqis, and Nadia and Mona. So we are discussing on the slow progress for women in leadership roles. So my second question, statement, please choose to agree or disagree. Women are much more emotional than men.
You want to go first or?
I don't think so. I think we're equally emotional. It's just that women express ourselves more. So in 1 hour, you may feel 4 different emotions and you express all 4. But for men, they can also feel 4 emotions, but they know how to manage it better. They compartmentalize their emotions, and so they express it when they want to. So I think that's why it looks like we're more emotional, but it's just that we are more expressive.
Why can't we? Why do we have to express 4? And is it because of society? Is that how? Is it because like men has always been conditioned to not show emotion?
Yes, I think that's also the case. That's them sabotaging themselves, maybe.
I think it's always been expected that if men is a bit more emotional, it's seen as a weakness.
Yes, it's a
rather
sign
than
of
strength.
weakness.
But I
It's a
think it's
condition.
changing.
Definitely
Slightly,
changing, especially nowadays that men are speaking up about their own feelings or whatever's going on in their head.
Yeah.
So that opens up a lot of doors for men and for women.
Yeah.
I agree with Mona. It's just that we show all of our feelings, right? Not just 4. If I have 1001, we want to show everything.
I think we wear our emotion at the sleeves,
Yes,
but we
yeah.
can't, say it as it is.
Yes.
Easier for us to cry because it is acceptable for women to cry.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to encourage, men, if you are emotional, that's fine. We like it, We like you to
Just
be
go
in
ahead
touch
and
with
cry.
Yeah. Like we like men who are in touch with their feelings. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's not a weakness.
Yeah, it's not a weakness. It's 2021. Get with the program. So I want to ask, what is the main factor that impacts the slow progression in the workplace?
I don't think we should segment it in that way because there's a lot of factors contributing to it. There's a phrase of first generation bias, which are more apparent, more obvious, the barriers for gender discrimination.
Yeah.
But the most alarming one is the second generation bias,
Okay.
which are a lot more subtle, unconscious bias. We see it every day in the workplace. It's the gendered career path. Example, I think we were chit-chatting just now. Nurses must be women.
Yeah.
But I have a male friend who is a nurse, and he had a hard time going into that profession.
I think one of the profession that can be gender biased is like engineering. I think a lot of people would kind of think that it's
Only
more
for men.
For
Yeah,
men.
right.
Which you're in.
Yeah, I was in oil and gas, and right now I'm in property, which are both still
Male
heavily
dominated still.
by
Yeah.
men. But we do see women stepping up.
Yeah. Actually.
I feel
Yes.
like I feel like the society in general, there's a general consensus that men are leaders. You know, in everything. You know,
Yeah.
in company, in a teamwork, in family. So I think it's the Asian culture. So that actually penetrates every level of your workforce in the organization, and because of that, that becomes a hindrance for female. So we sort of feel like we have to prove ourselves slightly more than men, because just to fight this general consensus or this stereotype that men are leaders in everything.
Right.
Yeah, so I feel that that's the part that we need to sort of overcome in society.
Yeah, and women tend to not be confident with what they have. So they kind of follow, they don't want to challenge the status quo. They just kind of follow like, okay, maybe I'm not,
Yeah.
Yes.
you know.
It's again, it's 2021. We see women
Yeah.
stepping up,
Yeah.
and hopefully a lot more soon.
Yeah.
I want to touch on the men should be leaders.
Yeah.
Have you guys read Dr. Harari's book *Sapien*?
No, not
I've
yet.
heard of
Tell
it,
us
but
about
I've not
it. Yeah.
read it.
So one of statements in there is that women are born as natural leaders, actually, because we are trained to be able to think from other people's perspective.
Yes.
So he suggests that that is actually the trait for natural leaders.
Yeah.
Not
I like this guy. I'm gonna read this book.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, and that's why they say female leaders are better, because they have a natural nurturing personality or
Yeah.
behavior, and so
Yeah.
they will think about their people first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they think about their offspring, and these people are sort of like an extension of their offspring, and so that's why they make better leaders, because they think for the whole organization.
Yeah.
I'm not saying every leader
Yeah,
should be
it is a
female right now,
generalization, yeah.
but they should be a balance, because then you balance out the male, which is a bit more a scientific point of view, and the female a bit more on the caring,
Emotion, yeah.
emotional part.
Okay, so that comes down to, I want to talk about the role in society. So men has always been accepted as the breadwinner,
Yep.
and women as the caretaker.
Yep.
But I think since we're talking about the slow progression, we have to talk about society in a whole. So if we want to accept women to be in a men's world, in the workplace, because there's a lot of, we have come so far. Women are allowed to work now. We have come so far. But I think in society, they still do not accept for men to be a caregiver. So I think
Yes.
if you want to talk about equality, it has to go both ways.
Yes.
It can't just be women entering a male role,
Agree.
but then the minute a man wants or choose to be a caregiver, his manhood is on the line.
Yeah.
People will start questioning that. I think that has to change too.
Exactly, yeah.
But I don't know when that's going to change, because that is a bit hard for people to accept. But I think we it's worth discussing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
definitely worth discussing, especially in Asian culture.
Yes.
We don't really see house husbands,
Yep.
stay at home husbands, right?
Yeah.
But it is progressing outside of Asian culture, and I agree we should discuss about it a lot more. Then it goes back to, I was saying, your support system, your effective constant communication with your partner. You know, it could be, hey, next week I'm gonna go to office, so next week can you be the one at home? It's as
Yeah.
simple as that.
Yeah.
But it needs to be communicated.
Yeah.
true.
Our Asian culture is more of a patriarchy culture, you know, even
true.
in organization, in politics, in
Yeah.
family as well. So I think that part will be a bit tough to change,
Yeah.
because it's ingrained in us,
Yeah.
you know, how many years we've been brought up that way. But I think with more discussion, you know, on that, I think people will start opening up.
Anyway, I wanted to ask, what do you think is the most damaging stereotype about men and women when it comes to workplace?
Well, I would still think that the general consensus that men are natural leaders. I think that's the most damaging, because yes, I think there should be a balance. Like, yes, you can be a leader at home, for example, but in the office you could still report to a female boss.
Yeah.
But right now, it is accepted that men are leaders, and so they should be leaders throughout, you know, the world, you know, kind of
that's
thing.
true.
So I think that's the most damaging.
I think Sheryl Sandberg, in her book Lean In,
Yep.
mentioned that if women are to run half of organizations and companies around the world, and men run half of the home,
Yeah.
the world definitely will be a better place.
It sounds good. I kind of like that word.
And she's the one who did the success versus likability
Yeah.
study as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shows Sanders.
That's cool. Okay, so my final question is, how can we break down barriers for women so that they can access these leadership roles?
I think personally, women should invest in their own leadership skills. And secondly, companies need to step up,
Yeah.
take bold actions.
Yeah.
We see companies, organizations nowadays, they are already talking about diversity inclusivity. They are implementing it. But the gap is, okay, I implement, and then
There's no action.
there's
or
no follow-up,
Follow-up,
continuous
yeah.
action. So the gap is they need to advise and educate all of their employees why is it's important to hire, to retain, to support, to mentor,
Yeah.
to sponsor women in their network, give role models,
That's true.
so that everyone in the organization understand and can grow together.
I think it's not just sponsoring, it's not just supporting behind the scene. You got to show
Yeah.
that, look, these women can do it
Yes.
and really be, their own cheerleader.
Correct.
I think men should start being our ally. And women also, I think there's this, I guess, stigma, that when women are when women are in the workplace, they tend to fight against each
With
other.
each other.
Because they feel like the post, they have to fight against other women, but men, they don't have to.
Yeah.
So we tend to kind of compete against each other.
Yeah.
I think that's
Because I guess that comes again to that stereotype where you can't compete with men because they're higher than you. So you
Correct.
pick your own people your own size. I guess
that's
what they
true.
say, right? But
Yeah.
that's you're destroying each other with that
That's
that
true.
way. And I feel that one of the key factors as well, how we can address this, is a systemic, solution in education. I feel like education, basic education, we're lacking a bit in quality education. I think with knowledge and skills and information, people get a bit more confident, especially women. So when you know more, it's easier for you to talk to people. It's easier for you to join a conversation in a corporate setting. So I think education at its most basic level must be really good. And that's something that I feel that we're lacking.
True. I feel like for what would make a change, definitely workplace companies have to get into an active role to change that one. But I think for women also, we need to stop sabotaging ourselves and like be okay to sit in the middle with the men.
Yeah.
Don't be scared, be confident, and just sit in the main table. Don't be at the sideline. Because I think women, when they see a lot of men,
They get intimidated.
they get intimidated, like, oh, and we second guess ourselves. And usually women are more, I don't want to say more productive, but it's just that we prepare more. We tend to do a lot of research in order to kind of present one
I agree with that.
Men
a
just
point.
wing it.
Yeah.
When men, they just wing it and they are confident and people listen to them. Hence why the mansplaining exists, because I think women, we tend to be a bit more hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for women to kind of just be okay being opinionated, be okay just being yourself.
Yeah.
But if you are soft, that's fine too.
Yeah.
There are other ways that you can do it, but still don't put yourself in the sideline and just sit in the middle and say, I belong here.
Yeah, to summarize whatever you just said, right?
Yeah.
Just believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. Thanks, guys, for being here today. I have such a great time having this conversation with you.
We had a good time too.
Yeah.
No worries. And I hope you guys do enjoy the show. We're going to continue discussing on this. But you have a great day and see you again soon. If there's one thing that you could take away from this episode, is that I hope women would not put yourself at the sideline. Always be bold, be opinionated, that's fine. Just be who you are. Have a good support system, and also don't sabotage yourself. We will cross the road when we get to it. Don't think too much, and I hope you will have the chance to advance yourself in a better position or in a better career move. Thanks for joining in. and I hope you take care of yourself. See you again.